That wasn't even close. The Chicago Bears absolutely destroyed the New York Giants by a score of 29-3 at Soldier Field in the final game at Soldier Field of this season, as Robert Quinn also breaks the Bears' all-time single-season sack record with 18 sacks on the year. What's going on, guys? I'm back with the Chicago Bears post-game recap videos, which I'll be doing every single week this year, next year as well. So if you guys want more Bears content from me, definitely be sure to subscribe to this channel. But in today's video, I'll be breaking down the blowout, the humiliation that our Chicago Bears gave to the New York Football Giants. And make no mistake about it, guys, this game was not even competitive at any point in this game. Okay, going up against Mike Glennon, probably the worst quarterback in the NFL. I still don't understand. How does Mike Glennon keep on finessing teams out of money? Like, why would you pay Mike Glennon any sum of money to be a quarterback for your team? Ryan Pace did that already, and it failed miserably, and teams still continue giving Mike Glennon money, and it doesn't pay off for them whatsoever, right? Because the Giants actually had negative 10 passing yards in this game. Negative 10 passing yards, one of the worst offensive outputs for any team in the history of the NFL, and that's coming against the 6-10 Chicago Bears, who are by no means any world beaters. Okay, the Bears have looked pretty poor the majority of the season, but I guess the Giants are that much worse than us, okay, because they just could not get anything going offensively whatsoever in this game. They could obviously, run the football a little bit here and there, but they were also running it practically every single time. Like, the Giants had 40 carries in this game. Saquon Barkley had 21 of them. Devontae Booker had 18 of them. And they just refused to pass the football in this game because it just wasn't working whatsoever. Okay, Mike Glennon had 11 pass attempts. He only completed 4 of them for 24 yards. He got sacked a bunch of times through 2 really bad picks. You know, Deion Bush got an interception. Tashawn Gibson had one as well. We had guys recovering fumbles, like Bilal Nichols had a fumble recovery. Kyrie's Tonga, the rookie, also had a fumble recovery. Travis Gibson forced one. Robert Quinn forced one as well. So it was just a turnover festival from our defense. Okay, we had practically everybody chipping in. Okay, 4 different guys causing turnovers. And we also had, obviously, that safety that we got, too, at the end of the first half, where I think that was Angelo Blackson that came in there and stopped the ball carrier, which I do have to say, man, Angelo Blackson playing on a pretty cheap deal for the Bears. He's been a pretty good defensive tackle for us, right? Like, he's made plays multiple times. He had a few stops in this game. I think going forward, he could be a pretty solid piece for the Bears defensive line rotation, right? Because we don't have a lot of guys locked in long-term anymore. Akeem Hicks is probably not coming back after this year unless, you know, the new GM or Ryan Pace, if he stays, if they extend him. Bilal Nichols also, his deal has ran out after this year, right? So we have a lot of questions on the D-line. Hopefully Angelo Blackson can be a contributor going forward as well, because he's locked in on a pretty cheap, I believe, 3-year deal, right? So top to bottom, man, I can't say anything bad about this defense because they did nothing bad in this game whatsoever. We also had Eddie Jackson coming in. They're laying out multiple big hits, having a bunch of tackles in this game. And I do have to say, man, Eddie Jackson gets a lot of hate from the Bears fan base for not being able to tackle. He's cleaned up his tackling a lot in the back half of this season. Okay, he's been playing nickel corner, he's been playing in the box, he's been playing free safety sometimes as well. He's been playing a lot of different positions over the past, couple months because he's had to, right? Like, we've had so many injuries on this defense. We've had so many guys, getting COVID as well. So Eddie Jackson has really stepped up and, done his job for this Bears defense. I know he hasn't gotten many interceptions or many big plays, and you want to see him get those, obviously, but those are extremely hard to get. Okay, you can only get big plays if people throw your way, and people have not been throwing Eddie Jackson's way over the past couple weeks because he's held up in coverage, right? So I think that Eddie Jackson going forward, hopefully he can build off of this back half of the season and get back to dominating like he did in 2017 and 2018. That's a tall ask, but I still think he's one of the most talented safeties in the league. Okay, hopefully we can get some more help around him to truly bring out his full talents. And I think we could really help Eddie out by drafting a true strong safety to go next to him. Maybe get a guy like Jordan Battle from Alabama, or if you want to wait into the 4th or 5th round, get a different guy. Because I feel like ever since Amos left, right, like, we haven't had a true strong safety to fully complement these skills of Eddie Jackson. That's just my take. We'll see what the Bears do, but I feel like Eddie Jackson still going forward could be, a key piece on this Bears defense. So good game by him, good game by our entire secondary. And also, I obviously want to talk about Robert Quinn as well, because, Guys, breaking a record from Richard Dent, which Richard Dent is one of the best Bears players of all time. One of the best Bears players, not even Bears players, but best players in NFL history, to break a record that he set in 1984 is a big freaking deal. Shout out to Robert Quinn, man. To get 18 sacks in one season, he now leads the entire NFL in total sacks. He passed TJ Watt now, so he should honestly get some votes for comeback player of the year, or maybe even defensive player of the year, right? Because right now the leader is probably, TJ Watt, and Robert Quinn has more sacks now than TJ Watt. I don't think that Robert Quinn is going to win because his pressure rate isn't the highest, and other guys have been having some pretty fantastic seasons as well, but he should definitely be at least in the conversation, because 18 sacks in one season is just impossible to do, right? Like, you have to show up practically every single week, and that's exactly what Robert Quinn did this year. And he also set the record in 17 weeks, okay? So there's not going to be any asterisk about setting this record in an 18-week season. He did this in 17 weeks and in 16 games, which is phenomenal, okay? So nobody can take this away from Robert Quinn. I'm so happy that even though the season was so bad, so painful, at least we had Robert Quinn to watch this season, and he's proven to be one of the best signings the Bears have made probably over the past couple of years. So amazing game by the defense, man. I mean, to hold a team to negative 10 passing yards, even granted with how bad the Giants are, to hold any team to negative 10 passing yards is a crazy thing. So hats off to the Bears defense. I don't have too much to say about the offense because I feel like we didn't have to do a whole lot in this game with how great our defense was playing. Our offense pretty much just had to hand the ball off to Monty, ask Dalton to make a few throws here and there to keep the chains moving, and that's pretty much all we had to do, right? Like, we had such great field position practically every single drive of this game. We started this game off with a drive on the Giants' 1 yard line, and it doesn't get any easier than that. So Monty had 2 touchdowns, not a surprise at all. This guy plays hard every single day. He's on the Bears, so just major respect to Monty, man, not giving up even though the Bears season is pretty much over. We had Darnell Mooney with almost 70 yards. He had 69 yards, and he touchdown too. He could top 1,000 yards next game against the Vikings if he gets, I believe, 75 more yards. I think he's 75 yards away from breaking 1,000, which would be crazy to see, okay? I don't think a lot of people had Darnell Mooney breaking 1,000 yards on the season, but he's getting damn close to being able to do that. He's been pretty much our number one weapon, our number one wide receiver for the past, couple months, because A-Rob has been in and out of the lineup. So hopefully next year we get a true number one to complement him, because again, I don't think Mooney is best suited as a number one receiver. He's a damn good number 2, but probably not a number 1. Hopefully we get a better coach next year as well to fully utilize his skill set. But great season, man, from Darnell Mooney. Fantastic job by him. And then otherwise, man, I don't have much else to say about the offense. Like, we had a couple fun plays. We went for it on 4th down. We had Kyrie's Tonga at fullback on the first touchdown of the game, which was pretty fun to see. We had David Montgomery throw a pass as well, which unfortunately was way too short. It was intended for, I believe, Cole Kmet, and he threw it way too short, and it was an interception, and that's why he's a running back. Okay, that's why David Montgomery is not a quarterback. But I like to see all these fun plays because I feel like all of this was, a staple of the Matt Nagy offense in 2018. Like, we ran all these wacky, crazy plays that made the 2018 season so fun. And I guess Nagy's breaking out some more of these one last time before he gets fired in a couple of days. Okay, Matt Nagy is pretty much guaranteed to be fired January 10th or whenever the season ends. Ian Rappaport reported that the Bears are heavily expected to fire Matt Nagy. I don't know about Ryan Pace, what they're going to do with him, but he probably also has a chance of being gone. There's going to be a lot of change in the Bears front office and their coaching staff because, even though we won this game, man, it doesn't matter in the long run, okay? To dominate a bad team doesn't mean much when your goal should be making the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl. So, although this win was a lot of fun, although beating up on Mike Glennon was pretty funny to watch, our goal should be set a lot higher than this, and I hope the Bears make the proper changes to make sure that this is not the highlight of our season. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. What you guys think about this game? I hope you guys had fun. Only one more game of this year. Thank God the season has been so disappointing to watch, but it's almost over, guys. As always, bear down.